In today's video, I'd like to share this story of this amazing little restaurant in the center of Tokyo that has had incredible success in its very first year and has gone to show that bigger is not always better. Now, this little restaurant is owned by a very good friend of mine. We used to live together when he lived in Australia here, and we were lucky enough to see and visit him January 2023 when he first opened the restaurant. And we went through some of the planning that he'd gone through, and then in January 2024 that just went past, we went and visited him again, and we sat down and looked through his P&L, looked at some of the numbers and discussed some of the reasons why he's had such great success. So this restaurant only has 7 seats. So how do you make that a success? Well, the key to having a high turnover with such a little restaurant is to have a very high seat value. So the average seat value for a day is about $500. So that's $3,500 a day, $17,500 a week, and about $70,000 a month. Multiply that by 12 months and you get over $800,000. Now, $800,000 does not seem like a huge amount of money, and $200 per meal doesn't sound like a huge amount of money, especially in Australia where the cost of living has risen so quickly. But to put it into context, the minimum wage in Japan and in Tokyo is just over $10 an hour. So people are paying about 20 times the minimum wage for a meal. In Australia, where we have a minimum wage of more than $20, that's similar to us having to pay $400 to $500 for a meal. So how does a little restaurant with only 7 seats keep people coming and keep the restaurant full when they're paying such high amounts of money? Well, the first thing would be that this restaurant was planned very well. It's not his first restaurant, it's his third restaurant. So he understands the costs that go into a restaurant, he knows how to budget, he knows about margins. He also has an economics background, so he understands the laws of supply and demand, which sort of underpin economics. And he's able to use those business skills and economic skills to make sure that his business is going to be a success. The second thing that has worked really well for him is his reputation. He's worked in the same area for about 15 years. First handful of years were in a very high-end restaurant with a good reputation. That's where he was trained and built up his sort of first bit of his fan base. He then had the courage to open up his first restaurant, build a fan base there, open up a second restaurant, again selling something different, but people followed him to that one. So when he opened his third restaurant, there was already a number of people that were ready to try it straight off the bat. So he had this new restaurant and booked out very quickly. He's also become very influential in the restaurant space. So he does get some media attention. Again, that helps keep that demand really high. Third thing that helps with this restaurant, keeping it busy and keeping it full and keeping people paying these high prices, is the meals that they serve. They are only made with the freshest seasonal ingredients, so they change all the time as the seasons change. So someone who might have tried it last month may go and have another look next month to see what's on offer. If they had a good experience last time, then they're very curious to have another look to see what else that they can create. And I think lastly, something that has worked really well for him is the location. It's based in Shibuya, which is a very central and busy district in Japan, in Tokyo, and it's surrounded by very affluent suburbs. Now, Tokyo is a city of about 30 million people, so it's not that difficult to find 7 people to fill a high-end restaurant. There's going to be that many people with high disposable incomes and a passion for very high quality food. So thinking about that, if you tried to do that in a more regional city or in a rural setting, then the likelihood of success would be much less. Now, just to summarize, this restaurant is not an overnight success. If you looked at it in isolation, you may think so, but it has come off the back of years of planning, years of reputation building, being uncompromising on the quality of the product and having amazing service, and also being in the right location. So it goes to show that a lot of ingredients need to come together to make a business very successful. Very difficult, but it can be done. So and lastly, if you're probably quite interested into knowing what this restaurant is, please leave a comment in the video or get in contact with me. I'm happy to share the location. If you walked around in Tokyo, you would never find it because all 3 of his restaurants are unsigned. But I'm sure he would be extremely happy to have some Australians visit the place, because I met him in Australia. We lived together for many years, so he has a soft spot for Australians, and he would love to have some people like international guests there come review his restaurant, try his food. So get in touch with me, and I hope you learned something in this video. I hope you found it interesting, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.